Welcome back to Soar Financially and the Gold Newsletter. Thank you so much for joining us here for an introduction of a story that we haven't presented on our channel yet. It's Scottie Resources. We're here in our studio in Vancouver, and we're joined by Brett Rourke. He's the president and CEO. Somebody I had the fortune of spending some time with last week while we were on site. We did a site visit to the Scotty Gold Mine project, checked out some outcropping veins, looked at some drills, had a great time out there in Stewart, but also really got a good handle on the Scotty story, I think. And I figured, hey, I'm in town. We need to catch up. Let's do an introduction. I think the world needs to hear about Scottie Resources. So here we are. Brett, it's great for you to come into the studio. It's great to have you. Thanks so much for joining us.
Thank you for having me. Great to see the studio from the inside. I watch your interviews, of which you've done a lot of good ones lately. So happy to be here and appreciate you inviting me.
You can see me blushing right now, right? I appreciate that, right? So this is where the magic happens.
I think you were blushing when Michael Gray was here. You made it clear you're a fan, but that was a
bit of a fanboy, right?
Yeah, but great interview and a lot of respect for that guy.
Fantastic. Yeah, no, absolutely. We were up there at Scotty together last week, so had the fortune of spending some time with him, and fanboy.
Yeah.
So, but we're here to talk about Scotty, right? So let's start at the top. Let's start with a holistic summary. Give us a 60 second pitch of Scotty, and then we'll dive into some of the details.
Sure. We are an exploration company, dominantly looking for gold at this point. We do have silver assets, but we're focusing on the gold right now, and then we're in Northwest BC in the Golden Triangle. So I've been on this project for about 8 years. The first few years was a big consolidation effort. We've done over a dozen transactions where, we're up to about 60,000 hectares of very desirable land in the Golden Triangle, 7 past producing mines. But mostly we're just drilling in and around the Scotty Gold Mine and the Blueberry Contact Zone at this moment. And, even despite a tough market, we've been having success, I suppose. And we're luckier than some of the other stories out there at this moment.
Absolutely. Yeah. Although, the sentiment is dismal. I don't want to even get into that.
No.
It'll just drag the whole interview down, right?
That's right.
But let's... part of the holistic overview for me is cap structure as well. So we are all on the same level. Run us through that real quick. Who are your biggest shareholders? I know you own quite a few shares as well.
Well, less and less every time I do one of these financing. So dilution really matters to me. If you went back to 2019, I think you and I first met at this time and no one knew who Brad Rourke was or Scotty. I own 20% of that company. I've diluted myself down to about 5% now. But with other great shareholders that we have, and when you met me, it was 100% retail. And now we've got it to about 30% retail. So, I've got Eric Sprott's just under 10%. I have 2 individuals that are at that same price, very, very credible people in this industry. Don't know if I should, one guy's name I can't say. Pan American owns 7% of my company. Ross Beatty led my last financing personally. And Commodity Discovery Fund, Extract, a good host of credible people in the business. And I worked it out. I think there's 14 of us. We own just about 60% of the company. So with 265 million shares outstanding, there's really no warrant to overhang on that. And when you understand a very short list of us, basically have more than 50% of that company, I think it's still very attractive.
Absolutely, yeah. Run us through cash position real quick, because it's the end of the season, so I have to ask.
Sure. Well, my cash is getting very low at the moment, but I've told all my partners that was going to be the case. I only raised $6.5 million this year, and we just completed 20,000 meters, which means I spent pretty much all the money. But we're in no duress. We have... we'll top that up here in the very near future. And I kind of have that looked after as we speak right now. So, let's fast forward a couple, 3-4 weeks. We should be sitting at about 20,000 meters to release. No debt, about $3 million in the treasury after I do a little top up here right now. So
fantastic.
Yeah, okay. But as of right now, it's pretty low. But we spent all our money and we're happy to do so.
Fantastic. Yeah, as we're recording, I have to ask, because it was you drilled 20,000 meters, right? So that costs money. Oh, right. Let's talk about that actually, because I was quite impressed because with how much you're paying for your per drill meter. You want to run us through the cost there?
Sure. So, I read my final week report a couple of days ago. They have us at about $317 a meter all in. That's including geophysics. I think, I'll get the final total. So let's just call it $325 a meter all in. For the Golden Triangle, I think that's very exceptional. I don't know if anybody else can do that. And you kind of saw our setup. We kind of built it for efficiencies with the two different, prep site there, the way we move the core, and the fact that we don't have to use much helicopters is really the advantage that we might have over anybody else you might compare me to. But that just means more meters for less money, which gives more chances of lottery tickets or just more information. So,
absolutely.
Yeah.
20,000 meters. What was the focus of the program this year?
17 of those meters, 17,000 are just on the blueberry contact zone. That's our lowest hanging fruit. It's been a slower burn, but that's our fourth season drilling blueberry. And again, because there's no helicopters, it's just our lowest hanging fruit, and then the grades to speak for themselves. So, it's been challenging the last few years. So we're just trying to conserve money and get as many meters as possible. But we have so many other great prospective areas. Georgia River, we drilled for 2 years. We're not giving up on it. We'll go back. Domino Zone. We drilled probably about 1,500 meters at Scotty Gold Mine proper, which is so close to the blueberry. They're the same system. We just don't know exactly how yet. That information, as we drill more, we'll learn. We have our ideas, but no use telling me your ideas because it's ever evolving. We've just been focused on blueberry, and what makes blueberry unique, it's on surface, right? It's on a road. You saw, we're drilling, the drills are sitting on a road. That just means easy accessible ore, easy to mine, or, I'm not a mining engineer, steeply dipping. So I think just proving up those ounces is probably the smartest thing we could do at the moment. And, if we ever get a proper market, then we can get back out and start drilling some of those other targets because they're great and very exciting in themselves. But then my meters will go up to that 400 plus per meter. So, yeah.
Function of a market, right?
Yeah.
But, you touched on it. Like, what is the strategy for Scotty? Like, what is the plan, like the business plan right now? What are some of the near-term goals and targets? Of course, based on the markets, they can change, right? But
sure,
run us through that.
The way we're approaching this right now is we just see ourselves as standalone. Yes, we need to drill more. Everybody knows that there's a mill to the south of me that my ore is compatible with, and a mill to the north of me that our ore is compatible with. That'd be the Bruce Jack and the Ascot. And I think it's just so easy to see, this ore is going to go to one or the other, and maybe that is the case in the future. But, we run this as a standalone. Up until maybe this year, I've only ever said in any interview that, our goal is to show a pathway to 1 million ounces of high grade. We've blown past that, and we feel very comfortable saying that right now. What is 2 million? Again, I need a little bit more work, but I think targeting that kind of number is actually reasonable. And so, it's the bottom of the market. It's bad as long as we have the support from the people that have been supporting us thus far. We just keep our heads down and just keep drilling until the market shows some interest. And again, there's the optionality that we have is probably better than a lot of our peers. Just proximity to those other mills, no royalties. We bought all our royalties back. That's how confident we are with the blueberry. So it's royalty free and it's all paid for. So
absolutely, yeah, no, fantastic. Yeah. You just released. What day is it today? Today is Thursday. On Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday
yesterday morning. Yeah, I missed.
Goodness.
I knew. Yeah, that's right. It was yesterday, and I just knew that Tuesday was going to be crowded for news, as it always is after Labor Day weekend. So normally I'd put news out on a Tuesday or a Thursday. That's kind of the standard. But I put it out Wednesday just because I knew I'd be competing with a lot of people putting out news. So yeah, we put out news yesterday morning, and pretty consistent par for the course. But yeah, we had a beautiful intercept. Now you've got me on the spot. 56 grams over 3.7 meters. So very good. And then within that same hole, 12 grams over 3 meters, just 6 meters away. I could have made that, smeared that about, and it would have been reasonable. But we'd go, doesn't matter. The numbers are so good. Kind of fits, we have a series of cross-cutting structures and a lithological contact. So that intercept with the gap would portray that, even though all the mineralization's right close to that contact zone. It's really accumulating along these cross-cutting structures.
No. So far you haven't done a lot of infill drilling, right? You've tested the extensions of Blueberry. What was you might have touched on that earlier, but I might have missed it. Within that 20,000 meters, how much of that was infill? How much of it was extension drilling? Mostly extension, wasn't it?
It's all extension.
Yeah.
I mean that was up for opinion, but I mean, now I'm just going to talk, and I don't really know the answer to the question, but I would be surprised if there's any holes that are 40 meters closer to the next one. That'd be about the closest we've come. You know, we typically step out 60 to 100 meters, and that's what we've been doing. Which lends us to the excitement of when we do go to target drilling or infill drilling, a resource. That may be a really exciting drill season because, again, we just understand the deposit so well.
Absolutely. Yeah, the first set of results just out yesterday seems to prove that you've got a really good handle on what is going on there, right?
Yeah, so far. Yeah. Geology can teach you. Mother Nature can be cruel. But we're very happy, and more importantly, so this was our 5th season, on Blueberry. If we could get excited about one thing is we hit structures where we predicted the structures to be, whether they run or not, I don't know. And the Golden Triangle can be cruel in the sense that I could have a beautiful sulfide long and it looks so beautiful and it won't run. Yeah. And then we'll have rock that looks like nothing and it runs. So, but more importantly, we understand it. We should be getting smarter season after season. Or Thomas, you got to meet Thomas. He's really the brains behind all this. And we're excited, and lots of good news to come.
I can tell. One thing I've noticed at site as well, in your office or core shack, is you have a prep lab there.
Yeah.
Right. No, I haven't seen too many of those. Tell us a bit more about that. I find that interesting.
So to be clear, it's not our prep lab. It has to be totally independent. So SGS had a CCAN prep lab, and where everyone was complaining about results over the last few years, ever since COVID, well, the backup for results is in the prep, not in the fire assays. And so it makes all the sense in the world to me. I don't understand how more people aren't doing this. But if you had a 10,000 meters or more of a program, small CCAN, 20-foot CCAN, crushing units there, got to get an oven and an oven. But you could do prep right on site. And so that's what we've done. It seems to be working out. Costs us a little bit more, but it gives us feedback quicker. So because we're constrained by weather, it's really important to get that first set of results back so we can plan the second half of the drill program. So that was the thinking on it. That's the 3rd year that we've used it. I can't see ever not doing that if I go to another project. It's been very successful. Yeah.
One other thing I want to talk about is you have a small mine permit.
I do.
Right, on the Scotty Gold Mine project. Run us through that. What does that mean? And could that be useful?
Well, now, of course it's useful, Kai, but we're dealing with the government. So, I mean, it's, you never know until you open those can of worms. But yeah, it's permit M139. It's a small mine permit, much like Barkerville had when that Osisko took over. But from our understanding is there'll be some amendments to it for safety to get underground and such, but it's a permit, it's in place. It certainly would lend itself to be a lot quicker than a greenfields project. And as you saw, it's a brownfield project and power, everything is just kind of in place for us. So I'd love to tell you what the rules of the government will be tomorrow, and they're going to be different than they are today. And that's one of the challenges we all have in the industry, but certainly a fast track to production if that was in case. Again, we're never going into production. We're explorationists, but it does give that benefit to perhaps the acquirer when the time's right. Makes us unique.
A little peace of mind there.
That's right.
So
yeah. Absolutely. And we didn't go underground, but there's an old mill in there, and California redwood flotation tanks, and you can still push the locomotives up and down the tracks. It's very competent rock. So
absolutely,
yeah.
Interesting. Yeah. Should have done that.
Well, going
Usually
underground, you have to have a
summer students,
shifter and again, safety. And we only had so much time. We didn't even get to see everything, but you did get to see quite a bit of it.
Absolutely, yeah. You usually use summer students for exploring underground, right? So
No, no.
not in that case, right?
Yeah.
Run us a bit through like the plans, the next steps. Like resource update is not imminent, from what I understand. So
No, but it's a question everybody asks, and it's a reasonable question. I think and the answer I have is this: is in the next 3 months, I'm going to get a lot more data, and should be able to articulate, okay, let's say we want a resource. For us, if it's not 1 million ounces, there's no reason to do a resource. That's our look at it. But, we're very comfortable. They're going, okay, we're kind of there. I should be able to articulate how many meters that'll take to do that. No. And then we'll just decide with the bigger shareholders, is that something that we want? We haven't found the ends of Blueberry, so you focus a lot of drilling to do the resource, you might just get capped at that number while there's so much more. We keep coming up with numbers like we had yesterday, and there's a lot of successful stories out there that just didn't have a resource. And, we're dealing with lots of corporates. I can tell you, they just take our model, throw it in the garbage, take the raw data, and they build their own model.
And Thomas does a good job, actually. But that's how that works.
Sharp. Yeah. No, for sure. And so, some of our bigger shareholders just go, I've never looked at a 43-101 ever. And they've ran big major companies. And they go, but have the data ready. And so, yes, if the market wants us to do a resource, we certainly will step up. But again, I just need to see this year's data. I mean, people have to understand that Blueberry, before this new cycle that we're going out, only has 23,500 meters. And then, I never can say numbers, but, you can imagine what kind of deposits there for just 23,000 meters. It's quite exceptional.
It's fairly high grade as well, right? Like the old timers mined at 10-gram cutoff.
That's right.
Right? So that's...
Yeah, we're as high as grade as anybody in the area, for sure. And continuity seems to be there, and so and again, just ease of getting it to it. As
you can just drive right to it.
Just drive right up to it, yeah.
It's fantastic. It's super easy. Brad, I think because you're a fast talker, I think we covered most of the topics. Like I'm just flipping through your deck to see if we forgot anything, but maybe one other question, maybe a bit unfair. Like, do you have a favorite target on the project?
Well, of course, Blueberry. I mean, again, steeply dipping right on surface. I mean, we have 1 ounce material, 15 meters from the top. So obviously that's low hanging fruit. In the heart of my hearts, like we drilled Domino, which is on the other side of Scotty. We found grade. We just didn't get the widths. But in my heart, I just go, I really want to get back to Domino. Again, just because of the helicopter aspect, it probably adds 35% to my drill costs. But the girl that got away in grade 10 is Domino. And I think, eventually when when the cost of money isn't so high, we'll get back out there and really prove it out there. The rocks change. It's more of a rhyolite, a more brittle rock, but we found grade. We just haven't found the widths, but we did so little. Drilling over there. So, but I mean, Blueberry and obviously is the main actor in our story at the moment. But, and we didn't even go look at the Cambria lands or the Ruby Silver mine and the Black Hills mine and stuff. But, I mean, you saw it as we're driving by, but we own all that tenure and so much to explore.
It's a massive land package.
Yeah,
absolutely. When do you expect the next set of results to come out? Like, what's the pattern here now?
Well, they're trickling in now. We'll just see. I'll get a partial hole here, a partial over there. We just want to make I had to put this out because is a 200 gram meter hole material? Well, I'd say nothing's material because I've put out lots of results to no avail, but I had to get that out because I didn't want to be accused of sitting on something. I think we'll manage that news as it comes out. Again, I'll be in Beaver Creek next week, and I've just consistent news from now until PDAC. Again, we should have one of the longest news trains, again, with 20,000 meters. There's only a handful of us in our peer group that have done that kind of meters. So
Absolutely.
Yeah.
No, fantastic. Brad, thank you so much for joining us here in the studio. It was a great introduction to the story. I thank you for the channel, and we'll need to catch up more often.
That's it. Looking forward to it.
Absolutely. Fantastic. Let me switch to my camera here. No, I was screwed up. Thanks so much for tuning in. We really appreciate you tuning in here to Soar Financially, and also the Gold Newsletter now, our new joint venture partner. We're collaborating on content here on this channel. Make sure to follow myself. It's at JR Mining Guy on Twitter, but also follow Brien Lundin at Brien_Lundin as well. A great guy, hosts the New Orleans Investment Conference, does fantastic content as well. So thanks so much for tuning in. And of course, we'll be back with lots more.